Well, breaking tonight, 2 new polls out today with a mixed message for the man previously leading the GOP race for the White House. Donald Trump, Republican 2016 frontrunner, keeps his #1 spot in a Fox poll out just hours ago, maintaining his lead over Dr. Ben Carson. He also has a slight edge over Carson in the Quinnipiac poll out today, but it is within the margin of error. The general election matchups out in these polls, however, paint a different picture for the GOP frontrunner. Dr. Carson, Senator Rubio, Senator Cruz all beat Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton in a head-to-head matchup. The Republican who does not beat Mrs. Clinton, Donald Trump, who falls short 43 to Clinton's 46%. All this as Trump makes headlines this morning for an interview with another network where he slams the very network he's on the phone with, something he is apparently fond of doing.
You know, I'm getting the biggest crowds by far. Yesterday, other than Sarah Murray, didn't report it very well because she never flips the camera to show the lines. I think she's absolutely terrible, your reporter. If you listen to Sarah Murray, you think there were 3 people standing in the atrium of Trump Tower. Either she's a very unemotional person or she's not a very good reporter. One or the other. You are a top-notch. I don't see it with Sarah Murray. All right, frankly, you have me followed by Sarah Murray, and she doesn't know what she's doing.
Listen,
and
Mr. Trump, you have to get the most attention.
That's because she's incompetent, or she doesn't like me, or maybe she's given instructions from up above. There's got to be an agenda someplace in CNN.
Howie Kurtz is the host of Mediabuzz. Dana Perino is a co-host of The Five right here on Fox and served as White House press secretary to President George W. Bush. So, Howie, good to see you. As Trump gets challenged by Dr. Carson in more and more polls, and as of this morning, Carson actually was the front runner in the Real Clear Politics average of all polls, which preceded the Fox News poll where Trump is ahead. He's getting a little bit sharper in his language against his competitors, and I guess it's just as ornery as ever about reporters who don't cover him exactly the way he wants to be covered.
This is really strange, Megyn. I was at the Trump Tower press conference, and Trump was praising CNN Sarah Murray for asking what he said was a great question, a wonderful question. So then the next morning, he goes ballistic. He's on CNN, ripping the CNN correspondent. Chris Cuomo keeps trying to move on while defending his reporter. He goes on and on and on. And yes, it is true there was a massive line for the book signing outside Trump Tower. CNN's camera was inside, so it showed a few press people. Nothing gets Donald Trump more infuriated than when he thinks the media are not or ignoring his huge crowds.
Can I just tell you, so I don't really know this reporter very well, but we took a quick look at her reports. She doesn't show the lines, he says. She did show crowds. She also verbally described the crowds. An October 21st piece she did focused on Trump's steady poll dominance, hinting that he would be the nominee. Another report was very fair, saying Carson's doing great, but so is Trump. An October 26th piece, first line, Donald Trump knows how to rally a crowd. Later, Trump lures crowds by the thousands. But the problem, Dana, is unless you say it just the way he wants you to say it, you get hit. And the thing that happens on some of these networks is they give him an unfettered arena in which to assault the press, which helps with some voters because they don't like reporters. They don't like the media. You know that from your time in the White House.
That's right. So there's only the media has a lower approval rating than the Congress, and that is hard to do.
And the Congress is lower than a cockroach. Right. So that makes us lower than the cockroaches, too.
So it's hard if you are in the press. Obviously, I think Sarah Murray is a great reporter, and I think Chris Cuomo did a nice job of trying to defend her. I also think that Donald Trump wasted a major opportunity to talk about his position, or even to have said, if I were Donald Trump, and I'm not, but if I were, I would have said, Chris, did you see what happened last night? Republican victories huge all across the country. Why do you think that is, Chris? It's because of me. And they better stick with me because I'm going to take them through to 2016. Instead, he spends so much time talking about the size of his line. It's just an obsession that I don't think serves him well. Now, he's up in the polls, so he will dismiss my criticism, I'm sure. But
he's up in some polls, and he's losing some ground in other polls because Carson is giving him a run for his money. And then on the other hand, Howie, you have reporters like Chris Cuomo in this instance, and it's happened on other networks, where the reporter interviewing Trump in the moment says, am I fair? Do you think I'm fair? I'm fair, though, right? Do you think I've been fair in this interview? And Rush Limbaugh was out today saying these reporters, they love it when Trump compliments them, and they hate it when he hits them, and they somehow need his praise. And if you happen to be a reporter who doesn't need his praise, that drives him crazy, too.
Well, in fairness, Cuomo has really tangled with Trump in a number of interviews. Another interesting tidbit from this press conference is that when I asked Trump about this fizzled effort to, change the debate rules, 67 degrees, do you want a pillow? He said, well, Hillary got all softball questions at the CNN debate. She should have been asked about Bill, he said. I said, really? She should have been asked about her husband? But Anderson Cooper pointed out, who moderated the debate, that Trump had praised Anderson Cooper's performance. That was then. This is now. Look, the bit about the polls is it doesn't really matter that much if he's up 3 points or down 3 points in a national poll to Ben Carson. Psychologically, it's important. The media pay a lot of attention to it, and Trump loves to tout it.
Right, because Trump is leading by a considerable margin in New Hampshire, in Florida, in Georgia, and he continually points to those state polls, which are very relevant, but I guess there's a psychological aspect to the national ones.
Exactly.
What do you make of it, Dana? Because right now, Dr. Carson is saying, hey, great, I'm on top on some of these polls, but with front-runner status comes more and more media scrutiny. And Trump is right that Ben Carson's about to get it in a way he has not gotten it over the past couple of months.
That's right. So there's been a very different campaign. I thought it was very interesting today to find out that one of the things that Carson's campaign has done is they did 240 different targeted Facebook ads. It's a very different campaign. So where Trump is boisterous, Carson is calm. Where Trump is like hitting people and being mean, Carson is nice. And there's appeal, apparently, as the two outsiders, to a lot of different people. There's enough appeal. But there is scrutiny. There's one good number for Trump today, especially in the Fox News poll, was that when it comes to the issue of the economy, he was up at 42%, way ahead of anybody else, especially Carson. So that will be something that Carson has to try to overcome. The thing I really don't like is that Trump in his Saturday Night Live promo actually doesn't use that as a moment to be fun and light. He actually says in this 4-second promo that SNL is running that Ben Carson is a loser. I don't think that is appealing to people. I mean, why not hit Hillary Clinton? Or just like, if you have a chance to be on Saturday Night Live, like, be funny, be self-deprecating. That's actually something that works the best.
Fascinating. Dana Perino with great advice, as always. Great to see you. Great to see you too, Howie.